Morning, Saskatoon. Let's talk electric vehicles. You'll notice that the Prime Minister announced a big amount of funding, federal funding, coming down for all kinds of programs, and a lot has to do with electric vehicles. And you'll also notice that Mayor Clark was totally silent on this during that time. It could have been because it was minus 50 some degrees at night. There was no electric bus that anybody saw on the streets. No city electric vehicles, cars, they weren't on the street. Probably because he was so worried that in minus 50 or 40 some temperature, they might be just sitting on the street and not going anywhere. And that wouldn't be a good image to have. So best to just keep them hidden until it warmed up. So I'm expecting now that the weather's breaking and he can look like he's actually doing something, that he's going to have some big press conference. He's going to say, oh, there's this big electric car thing we have to do and electric vehicle thing we're going to have to do. And everything is going to be just great, just like bike lanes. He's going to have this major plan for very few people to gain. So let's look at what this means. Electric vehicles. Okay, electric vehicles. They've come a long ways for sure. They're going to have electric trucks here right away. Yeah. So what do you think the chances are that people are going to give up their vehicles now and just take the bicycles everywhere? Because we're spending all this money on bike lanes. Probably not. I think you'll have to agree that our city is too spread out to really be dependent on bicycles full time. It's good for people for exercise, and some people can navigate and live their life with a bicycle, but a lot of people can't. It's just not mainstream enough to give them the access they need. It's pretty hard to put 3 car seats in it and take your kids to daycare and go to school any amount of time when you're a parent. So you still need a mode of transportation with our spread out cities. We're not dense enough. So then you need a vehicle of some sort, conveyance. Mass transit isn't really suiting a lot of people. It doesn't suit our lifestyle. It doesn't suit the activity level we want and the access we want, specific access to specific businesses or residences. So if we do switch from a gas vehicle to anything, it could be electric, it could be hydrogen. Hydrogen's coming back. But let's say it is electrical. What does that mean for our city? Really, what does it mean? Well, in our city, electricity is basically made from natural gas. So if you're driving an electric vehicle all over the city, you're technically driving on natural gas. Natural gas creates the power, goes into the grid. The grid loses some, of course, for efficiency around, but it ends up at your house or at your business, and it slowly charges your vehicle, and then you drive that. Okay. So that's what goes on. If we really wanted to improve things for an electrical grid, to start with, we would be generating more power. Natural power, renewable power. So we'd have solar cells or wind power. City hasn't been really allowing a lot of people to put solar panels on their houses, and commercial installations on large buildings that should have been happening for years hasn't. But the city also controls a lot of the power grid. And Sask Power isn't too eager to let people put a lot of power grid information back in. So generating power and putting it back into the grid has always been a hard thing. It's getting better, but it's not mainstream at all. And for us to switch a large part of our society to switch to electric vehicles, our grid cannot sustain that amount of power draw. We don't have a good enough power grid. We don't have enough power in our houses for a 60 amp charger to be running in the evening to charge a vehicle if, say, 30 houses on your street are doing the same thing at the same time. How many times have you ever heard in your life that, could you please not run your dishwasher at 5 o'clock or your dryer because there's, air conditioners are running and it's really hot out, or it's really cold out and we need to be careful not to overload the grid. We just went through a record use of natural gas. We broke a record. And that was heating our homes and generating electricity with natural gas. So if your car, which wasn't part of that equation, is drawing all this power to charge at night, now we got a problem. So if your house can't generate enough power, or you don't have a big enough breaker panel to handle 60 amp chargers or bigger, then what? So if you plug in your car, it'll take like 40 hours probably to charge it from scratch. An average electric vehicle, 40 hours straight. So yeah, you charge it once and then you leave it. That's on a 110 plug. But if you go to the high capacity chargers that can charge in, say, 4 or 5 hours, that's 60 amps. And if you understand your power supply in your house, that's an awful lot of power. So it's probably better if you could charge at work. But there's a problem at work because businesses don't have this much power capability. If you've got 200 parking spots in your parking lot, to try to have that much power there, you're going to have what, 4 or 5 charging stations, and you got 200 cars. How are you going to select which of the 200 get to charge on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? You can notice right now, if you're in commercial parking lots, that the plugs are blinking because they're not always on. You plug in your car depending on the temperature, and they kick in, they go out. They come on, they go out. They cycle around to try to keep a little bit of power to everybody in the parking lot so that they can keep their block heater on. But they're not always powered. And that's now. So can you imagine trying to draw this much power for it? It's nice to have a dream, but there needs to be a really strong buildup of power generation in our city naturally. So solar power. But the problem again is if you're at work and you got solar panel cells generating some power at home, you're putting it back into the grid, but you really need to be charging at work where you may have the larger power capability. So there's a lot of things that need to be worked out before we go mainstream with this type of thing. But if we really, really, really want to make a difference in our renewable energy and how much impact we're having on global warming, we get rid of our natural gas power generation and we use something like a thorium nuclear power plant. And then we use that to generate our power. And we probably got couple thousand years worth of energy sitting in our back door to do these types of things. So if we can come to some sort of a calm understanding as to what we need and get a plan made, we are in the best position to get something like this done that would run our city. So then we'd be generating power without greenhouse gas emissions, because even electric cars, they have a lot of rare earth metals. They have a lot of things that come from all over the world that take a lot of resources to create. And it has a lot of environmental impact. So it's not a free thing. Hydrogen vehicles, in my view, would be a better thing. And Toyota is coming quite a long ways. Like they've got a hydrogen vehicle that has like a 400-mile range right now. So if that were to go mainstream, it's possible that that would be a way better solution, because you could pull up to a pump, like a gas pump, you fill your vehicle, you got another 400 miles right away. You don't have no delay. So we don't know where this is going to go, is my point. If we're going to consider going to electric vehicles for a whole city at some point, then we better start working on how we're going to get power around, because we're not rewiring our entire city. Some of the old areas of our city already do not have enough power. And so for them to be having a block or two of cars plugged in at any given moment will just basically cause brownouts or blackouts everywhere. And as soon as we get into an air conditioning or extreme cold snap, that's going to break the system again. So we need to be working on that. That's a building code change. That's a change in planning and development to make sure that our planning documents reflect our need. And we start slowly upgrading our power grid so that it's more of a local-based power supply. But we have to understand that this isn't going to easily get implemented into our society. So people have to be a little bit understanding that we're probably going to be on some sort of petroleum-based vehicles for a long time yet, unless some better alternative that we can transmit power around with, like hydrogen, say energy, works for us. So anyway, I'm sure Mayor Clark is just dying to, now that the weather's better and he can show that electric vehicles are so good, he's going to be having a big press conference. But I wish he would answer the hard questions as to how they're going to supply the power grid, and if the city even has the infrastructure for electric buses so that they don't kill people that work on them. So many things, and so few answers, especially when it comes to Mayor Clark and Jeff Jorgensen. So I'm hopeful that maybe reporters and the people that get the chance to ask these questions of them will start asking the harder questions, because otherwise they take the easy answers and they make it sound like they've got it all figured out when really they don't. Thank you. My name is Kerry Charsoff.